Hello everyone, this is Xephyr here, and welcome back to Monster Hunter World Iceborne on PC. As you can see, I'm wearing some layered armor today. I did what I said I was going to do, and I threw on the Azure Rathalos layered armor. I'm very happy to have this because I do really enjoy the look of the low rank, high rank Rathalos armor, as well as the master rank, but we obviously don't have master rank access for layered armor just yet. I went with Azure just because I like the blue over the red, so, I have both, but I decided to go with this. This is the alpha version. I just prefer the alpha version. I think it looks better. It's more classic Monster Hunter. The beta version, to me, looks more like a gunner set, and the main reason I don't like the beta version is I don't like the open helmet. And you're probably thinking, well, you could still wear the rest of the beta and just wear the alpha helmet, but truth be told, I actually like all of the alpha armor look better than the beta armor look. Like I said, I think the beta looks more like a gunner set, which I don't really very often, if ever, play gunner weapons. Bow is the only one I really ever use, and that's very infrequent at this point. So I just like the Blade Master awesome look of the alpha set, and so I'm glad I get to wear it as layered armor now, because you pretty much always wore the beta version of everything in base world because it had more slots, and more often than not the beta version didn't look as good as the alpha because, like I mentioned in other videos, the betas always looked to me like the gunner set. It was so funny because they decided to make it so that gunners and blade masters used the same armor. In the older Monster Hunters, there was a blade master set and a gunner set. Depending on which weapon you were using, you had to use the set that matched the weapon. And then in World, they decided, nah, we're gonna separate that. Blade Masters and Gunners can use all armor sets, and it's just Alpha is more skills, less slots, and Beta is less skills, more slots. But it still felt like Alpha set was Blade Master and Beta set was Gunner for the appearance, which kind of stunk because I've always liked the look of the Blade Master armor over Gunner. And it's not the case for all sets. We've kind of talked about this before, but I feel like there's a lot of cases where it is, and primarily I feel that way with the high rank, low rank Rathalos armors. So that being said, we're back in the Guiding Lands again today. We are going to be going after some tempered monsters in the Volcanic Region. I'm wearing my Saphy Drakblade because we are going to be starting with Rathalos and Azure Rathalos. And if we have time, we will be planning for Brachydios. I have lures for all of them, so it's no problem. I think we're making pretty good progress towards our goal. I really think it's totally possible to hit level 7 today. It won't be in this video. I think it's going to take at least 5 monsters probably to get there, but next video we'll probably hit 7, and the video after that will probably be the monster that we need to what was our true goal, the level 7 tempered monster for the Volcanic Region. I don't know why that sounded way more aggressive and horrifying than normal. That Rathalos did not sound like a Rathalos. But he's here now. Oops, I already had him targeted. Alright, here we go. Okay. Not too terrible so far. Tempered red scale. So that, hopefully, those are what we need for the Master Rake armor when it releases later this week. Granted, if we're going to wear any of the Master Rank Rathalos as layered armor, it's probably going to be Silver Wrath, which, trust me, I've got plenty of Silver Rathalos materials. Tempered Silver Rathalos, I should say. I don't know that I have many normal Silver Rathalos materials, because I only really ever hunted it much when it was tempered. I think we maybe fought it non-tempered at some point. I'd have to check. My list is currently on the tempered monsters we fought, so I don't remember everything we fought, unfortunately. Not by heart. One day I will, because it'll just have been everything and I won't have to really remember specifically. Man, I love Monster Hunter. Every time I go to play this lately, I've just been like, man, I love this game. It's so much fun, and it's got moments of frustration, obviously, but, you know, that's a good thing. If games were super simple and you didn't ever get frustrated, what would be the point? You know, the frustration is a sign of challenge and difficulty, and overcoming those challenges is great. Ugh. But yeah, even though it's got its frustrations and things that can be difficult, and I just want the shinies. Thank you, Shadow. But yeah, even though there's, you know, those challenges and I get frustrated on occasion, it's so much fun. Like, everything about it is great. I love the monsters, I love the armor sets, I love the weapons, I love the combat. The only thing that it doesn't have that I like in games, which I wouldn't expect Monster Hunter to have because I don't think it would work if it worked with that mechanic. I just need other games for it, and unfortunately there haven't been games lately that have hit that itch. You know, I mentioned in the last video how I really want them to announce a Dragon's Dogma 2. The only thing Monster Hunter doesn't have is just like a real fleshed out good storyline. And don't get me wrong, I know a lot of people complain about the Monster Hunter stories. I really like the storylines in the Monster Hunter games. Yes, they're kind of bare bones, but I like them. They're good for what they are. You know, they're no like super written epic with massive twists you don't see coming that just, you know, drag you in, but I like them. I thought the World and Iceborne story was good. 4 Ultimate probably had the best storyline of any. I shouldn't say 4 Ultimate, just Monster Hunter 4 in general. I didn't care so much about the G rank or high rank, I guess, since it's single player storyline in 4 Ultimate, but the base game storyline that just standard Monster Hunter 4 had as well. That one was really good. I really enjoyed it. I haven't played it in a long time, so I don't know if I'd say it was better than Iceborne or not, but Iceborne and Monster Hunter 4 probably have... we'll just say Ultimate. You know what? Iceborne as in base world plus Iceborne, and Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate as in Monster Hunter 4 plus Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate together. Those two probably have the best storylines, and, you know, I enjoyed both of them a lot. But the point I'm trying to get at, the only thing that Monster Hunter doesn't have that I really like in games is just a huge world to travel across and adventure with multiple cities to go to, and just, you know, a true role-playing adventure. And honestly, there hasn't been a game that's come out recently that's had that. I know a lot of people expect Cyberpunk to do that, but the problem with Cyberpunk, for me, is that the main thing I like in those games is the fantasy setting. It's one of the reasons why I like Elder Scrolls so much. And Dragon's Dogma and stuff like that. I like the whole kind of like high fantasy aesthetic with magic and stuff. And Cyberpunk's going to be great, I'm sure. But it's not going to quite hit that itch because it's all technological. And honestly, I swear, this is something that's always been bugging me lately, is that everyone wants every gamer to be a weeb and like katanas. There's been so many games that I've played where I've been like, oh yeah, I'm gonna use a sword, I'm gonna be melee like I like to, and the only swords are like katanas, and I'm like, why? Why are there no broadswords and long swords and, you know, swords from the medieval period? And it's always because so many people just love katanas because anime. And Cyberpunk unfortunately is looking like that, because the only like melee sword I've seen has been like katanas built into the main character's arms, and I'm just like, that's not what I want. That's not gonna scratch the itch. I will absolutely love the game, I'm sure. I will like all the role-playing aspects, and it'll be fun, but it's not gonna scratch the itch I'm looking for. And honestly, no game has. I've been thinking about going back and just replaying Dragon's Dogma again, just because I know that game will scratch the itch. Traveling across a huge world map, visiting towns and people, picking up quests, and just doing that high fantasy role play. I miss that. And so, like I said, for everything that Monster Hunter does for me, like, it's got the best gameplay, at least for me. It's got the best armors and weapons, though I wish there were more straight sword looking long swords. There still are some, and, you know, that's fine. I understand it's a Japanese game, so of course there's going to be katana-looking ones. But they also, you know, there are scimitars and pole arms and scythes for longsword. So it's not like there isn't variation. And, you know, I do still have my Brimstone Drakeblood or Stygian Gula. I can't remember which one's the final form. And the Despo Bolt Breaker. You know, I've got those. I've got the Namiel sword, the Black Tornaria or whatever it's called. So it's not like I don't have some straight sword looking long swords to make me happy with that. But man, I need a game that will scratch that itch, and it's gonna end up being either Demon Souls when it comes out in November. That's exciting. I'm stoked for that. It doesn't quite hit everything because it doesn't have a bunch of towns to visit or anything, but it's got the high fantasy stuff going on. Just no quests and things. Or there's gonna be I'll end up replaying Dragon's Dogma, or what else could there be? I might go back to the Elder Scrolls. I know I still need to do my epic through those. It's just I know it's gonna take a long time, and Monster Hunter's still been absorbing all of my time. I don't know how, like, once we're finally done with Iceborne, which it's only like a month or two away, I don't, like, there's going to be Demon Souls that will probably take up November, but that game's not super long, so I expect we'll be done with it by the end of November, I'm sure. Then I have, Jesus, until March. We might faint here with the Rathalos on its final legs because I got hit by that fireball. Monster Hunter Rise doesn't come out till March, so we'll have quite a few months before the next Monster Hunter entry. So I gotta decide what I'm gonna play, and it's just, I could probably get through maybe one Elder Scrolls game in that time. So maybe I'd play Morrowind, or maybe I'll start at the most recent game being Skyrim. Maybe I'll start with that. I don't know yet. But I just need to scratch that high fantasy epic RPG itch, and there's just nothing new that really hits it. I'm actually playing a game called Fantasy Life right now, which is really great, and it's not as hardcore. Like, the combat's very basic, and there's nothing that's really super difficult in the game. But you travel between towns, and there's lots of crafting and different equipment and things to do, and it's a lot of fun, and it kind of scratches that itch, but it's very dated at this point. As would be kind of Dragon's Dogma. I know it got the remaster and everything, but it's still an older game. And so it's just like, I need something new to come out, and just nothing is hitting those notes, because it's just not what's popular at the moment. You know, there's all these battle royales coming out, and first-person shooters, and all these other things that just... I feel bad that the games I like are not what the general public likes, because I'm always sitting there waiting for long periods of time for a new game to come out that I'm really into. I have plenty of games I like and enjoy, but nothing that I'm really super stoked about unless it's a Monster Hunter game. Which luckily we've been getting a lot of those lately. That has certainly been very helpful. Kind of been blessed in that respect. Okay, so that took care of Tempered Rathalos, so now we're going to go ahead and do a Tempered Azure Rathalos. And I will say, if you have any epic RPG type games, it's okay if they're older as long as they're not too dated, and I don't like using the word clunky, but it's the only thing I can think of right now. Maybe stiff, as long, like, it doesn't necessarily have to be an action RPG, but that is kind of what I'm feeling at the moment that I want. You know, as I mentioned, if it's got that kind of Dragon's Dogma feel, in a sense, you know, leave it in the comments. I'll certainly check it out. I need something that will scratch this itch, and I'm not having much luck. I'm okay with turn-based. I'm okay with top-down CRPGs and all that. I just really like action RPGs of late. I like the fluid and live combat. It's why I like Dark Souls and Dragon's Dogma and Monster Hunter, all these things. I do like things being active, but turn-based isn't bad either. I mean, I've been playing RPGs for a long time, so I've played plenty of turn-based RPGs. I am super, like, Final Fantasy 15 was terrible. No one will ever convince me that it wasn't. It was an awful game. I hated the story. I hated the characters. I hated the combat. Like, there was really nothing about that game I really, really liked other than the music and the scenery. But Final Fantasy 16, it's looking good so far. Obviously, I thought 15 looked good before it came out, so it's totally possible 16 will be terrible. But it's more high fantasy rather than technological future stuff, and it's looking good. So I am super excited for that. Who knows when it'll come out? And I don't remember if I've mentioned, but I was able to secure a pre-order for the PlayStation 5, so hence why we'll be able to play Demon's Souls at release. But yeah, so like I said, if you've got some RPGs that you think are really good and might be what I'm looking for, go ahead and leave them in the comments. Like I said, they don't have to be action RPGs. I know that those are few and far between that are really good, especially high fantasy wise. So they don't have to be, but that is really what I like the most. Probably secondary would be what I think they're called CRPGs. I'm trying to think of what the C stands for. I can't remember, but basically top-down RPGs are fine too, with like either they can be just your character or, you know, squad-based. I think they're usually you have an entire party you control. Those are good too. I've got Pathfinder and Pillars of Eternity 1 and 2. I just haven't gotten around to really playing them hardcore yet, because the problem with those games is having to plan out my build for my main character, because I'm so picky about how I build my main character. I like to use a longsword, preferably in one hand, and then use some magic, and there's almost never in those games a class that does that. It's almost always, if you're using a one-handed sword, you're using a sword and a shield, and you don't have magic. And I know, at least with Pathfinder, there's ways to give your character magic, even when you're doing that stuff, but I don't want it to be like completely gimping myself either. And the other thing is, I know there's a class that is built for that, but the other main thing that's important to me is heavy armor. I always wear heavy armor, and my character's supposed to be able to use it properly to be able to move well. And I know if you play the class that is meant to be a one-handed sword with magic, they don't get heavy armor until real late in the game, unless you want to have arcane spell failure, which if you're running arcane spell failure, you're doing it wrong. Because the last thing you want is to waste your turn failing to cast a spell because you chose to wear armor your character isn't proficient in. So I usually end up being a fighter with a sword and a shield, just because the more important things to me are the sword and the heavy armor, as opposed to the magic. But it just never feels quite right. And that's why I really enjoyed, I know it wasn't magic, but that's why I really enjoyed Dragon's Dogma, is because you could use a one-handed sword. I almost always played the assassin class, max physical damage, because it's the other thing is I usually prioritize strength as my main stat, but max physical damage with a one-handed sword, and then you could also use a bow. And I've kind of thought of that as my ranged option, or my magic in a sense, is because, you know, I primarily use the sword, but then when I needed to, I could switch to using my bow. Oh, come on! That shouldn't have happened. Where is my freaking max potions? Why do I not have them lined up? But yeah, I almost never get to be a one-handed swordsman with magic. Though one of the other things I like to do is, so I don't necessarily dislike sword and board, but I usually prefer to have one hand free, and so it's nice when games allow you to get a benefit for not using a shield and having the sword in one hand. So like Pillars of Eternity, you get an accuracy bonus, I believe, when you use the sword in one hand without a shield, and that's nice. I don't know what's going on, but I'm having a lot of trouble. I bounced, and that's completely set up a chain reaction of bad. See, I bounced again. It's the tail tip, I think, that I'm hitting. But yeah, there's a nice look into how I play characters in RPGs and stuff, or how I develop my character. And also should explain why I play Longsword Monster Hunter, aside from it's just the weapon style that fits me best. But 1, Longsword. 2, I like the fluid movement. I like my character to be able to wear heavy armor and move around well. You know, they're good at using the armor. They're not completely bogged down and moving slow and lumbering. They're just fluid, agile, while also being having good attack power and all that. Ah, son of a... Like I said, that's why I always end up playing fighters, because they're usually the ones who are the most proficient in using heavy armor and don't have a bunch of speed bonuses and, or speed, not bonuses, speed handicaps from wearing heavy armor, or, I shouldn't say arcane spell failure, it's almost what I said, but they don't have all the detrimental effects of wearing heavy armor like pretty much every other class. So that's usually why I end up playing that class, which is fine. It's just not what I usually like. It's not what I want. I want to be able to use a sword in one hand and magic in the other, which is generally sort of what I do in Dark Souls, Demon Souls, whatever. The problem is, since you're not casting magic all the time, I almost always will... I'll use the magic to buff my weapon, then put the shield back on. So it's like, ugh! Nothing quite hits what I want. Nothing ever does. So I almost always end up being one-handed, heavy armor, sword and board, with magic as a side thing. But that's mostly what I want anyway. I just wish there were more games that gave you a benefit for not using a shield, whether it was higher attack power or just better. I like the better accuracy thing. But most games don't. It's usually better to just use the shield. But that's just not how I picture my character. Oof. But yeah, there you go. There's a little insight into why I like Longsword and all that in Monster Hunter 2. Mobility, heavy armor, Longsword. And, again, it's just the weapon class that sat with me best way back when I started playing. Well, not right when I started playing Monster Hunter, but once Freedom 2 came out and I actually had access to more weapons than the original game gave you access to. In the original game, I switched between Greatsword and Hammer. I started with Greatsword, and then I didn't like it, so I ended up playing Hammer a lot more. And then When Freedom 2, though, came out, I went through all the weapons, and Longsword just, it felt right, and it's always felt right, and so that's one of the reasons why I use it, aside from my, how I feel about my character's backstory and just kind of personality and all that, but it's just kind of funny, it just kind of works out. I mean, it makes sense that how you want to be usually will end up working the most, because it's what you expect. So usually when you feel that you want to be a certain way, because there's a reason for that, and so it leads to a playstyle fitting best, because it's already what you know you want, and you want it because you know you're good at it and you enjoy it, and so it ends up that it just kind of clicks. I know a lot of people go in with no expectations, and so they have to go through every weapon and just see what works for them. But me, I went in with the expectation of, this is the type of playstyle I like. I like fluid play that's doesn't necessarily have to be fast, but is just not slow, I guess is the best way to put it, and has good damage, and boom. That's exactly what a longsword is. It just works for me. Well, like I said, a little insight into how my thought process works for this stuff. Did we cut its tail? Did we carve its tail? I think so. I don't remember. I've been talking a lot because it's just, you know, we fought Azure Rathalos before. There's not much to say other than it's tempered this time. But yeah, that was a fun tangent about how I like to play role-playing games, how I characterize my character in them, and the fact that nothing seems to hit what I want lately with games. I think the only games that, or I guess the only game, because Oblivion and Morrowind, you could even use a shield while using magic, but or I guess Morrowind you couldn't, but you could be a shield user and then switch to magic, where you had to ready your hands and all that. I hated that. That mechanic was terrible. But Oblivion at least let you keep your shield on and cast magic. Skyrim was the first one where you had to have a hand completely free to use magic. But those are the only games that really hit all the stuff I want for my character, but the main reason is because those games are so fluid. Like, you can literally build your character however you want. You want to be a heavy armor mage, you can be a heavy armor mage. Other games get very close, but the reason other games generally don't let you do all the things I want is because of balance. Like, if you could wear heavy armor with no negatives to your magic, and then also use magic, and also use melee combat and all that, like, you'd be really powerful. So I totally get that, but I wish they could find a way to balance it, because I'm not looking to cast like the most powerful wizard spells, because usually my lowest stat is well, it's charisma usually, but otherwise it's intelligence, and not because my character's not smart, but because he spends his time improving his skills with combat rather than his knowledge of the world and all that. So intelligence is usually lower, so I'm not going to be good at casting the best spells, but I want to have good, like, utility spells. Like the ability to buff my weapon with magic, or, I don't know, cast a low-end cure or something. Or even just shoot like a tiny little icicle or a little ball of fire, not like the high-end one. Yeah, Rathalos, screw you. What? I guess Azure just has higher wind pressure than standard Rathalos. Get down here. I hit the clutch claw button so many times and it just decided it wasn't going to go off. But yeah, so I understand most games don't let me do what I want. And I'm okay with that. You know, I still get by. Like I said, I'm okay with playing as a fighter with no magic. That's fine. I do like when I can use magic. The games that let me use magic, as well as doing all the other stuff I want, you know, the long sword and the heavy armor and being proficient in the heavy armor and all that, I usually really enjoy them. But they're very few and far between. I make do with what I can get, though. It's not like I can use magic here. There is no magic. Oh, poopy. Oof. Oh, you dick. You dick! We're gonna take a feint right at the end. You gotta be kidding me. Or not. I guess he just decided he really wanted to attack my cat. They said this stuff is why I don't like that we don't. Come on, that's my bad, but still, why I don't like that we don't automatically pick up the shinies is because like you need to prioritize them, but prioritizing them generally gets you hit. So we still have time, so we're gonna go ahead and take on that Brachydios tempered as well. Ooh, an Uragan lure. Pretty certain I had one, but another one's not going to be a bad thing. Alright, we'll let this start recharging. Let's head back to camp. I think we'll keep the Fireproof Mantle on because it will negate the Blast Scourge, so that'll be important. Oh, I wonder, can I eat? Yes, alright. I want to refill my stamina. Alright. Sorry, I just realized I also want to refill my items since we're taking on another monster. Fort investigation. Let's see where we're at now. Oh, jeez. It's not even halfway. Oy. Alright, that's okay. Not that big a deal. It happens. Brachydios. And since he only affects one region, he might give us a good chunk. I hope, at least. I do need to change weapons, though, now that I think about it. I don't know if they still do this, but one of the things that was cool about Brachydios in the older games is that he's mostly weak to ice, but using water is super useful against him because it washes the slime off, and he'll have to spend more time reapplying slime. I have no idea if that's still how he works. It was just a really cool feature in the older games. I really liked that you could choose the thing that he was weakest against, or you could choose something that might give you an advantage in the fact that he couldn't keep his slime constantly active. Wrecky. And tempered, nonetheless. Actually, I want Crystal Burst instead of the Torch Pods. Grab this, just so that have, and I don't forget, because I know I will. And then we'll grab this. Okay. I was really worried there for a second that he was not going to hit that wall. It's tough sometimes to get them far enough into the, like, the Clutch Claw only sends them so far. Immediately enraged. That's scary. I was really hoping that would get me the mount. Shoot. Yes, okay. Putting a steer in his face, so we're just going to attack the face. As much as I want to get the tail off, I want maximum damage. This guy is no joke when tempered. Those blasts do so much damage. Shoot. Ooh, yeah, see? No joke. No, 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 no. Come on. Ugh, we'll pop this just because I don't want a chance not being able to get that, Mega Potion off. Oh, come on, that missed. Look at that. Oh, crap. Ah. Ooh. God, he does so much damage. Oh, that's bad. I love that tempered Brachy's still dangerous. Like, untempered Brachy's not that big a deal, but tempered Brachy, those blasts just do so much damage still. Alright, tempered Ebon Shell. Oh, did I never collect the one? No, I did. I must have just not gotten his Ebon Shell. I must have gotten bones. What are you doing? Come on. Jeez, that put me in a weird spot. Tail it is. Where's this slinger bomb that's telling me I can pick? Oh, it's from the bug, the bomb beetle. Ooh, nice. Ooh, a Brachydios and a Yian Gruga lure. Ah, crap. Did I get both those pickups? I think I did. Okay. God, the music is so good for this fight. Ugh. I got all these shinies to pick up, which is dangerous with him. I want these materials. I actually really like his armor set look too, so I'm gonna want its layered version. That's the fun thing, is I'm betting... I don't know how much I'll do it, especially since I know the October update armor. It looks so good that I'm never gonna want to wear anything else. But I do have a feeling once we have Master Rank layered armor, I'm gonna be using layered armor a lot more. I'll be altering how my character looks just because... Oh, that's... Okay, so I didn't want to talk about it too much since we weren't hunting it, but there we just got a lure for the monster that is the Volcanic Region that I wasn't sure if it showed up because I hadn't ever seen it out here, and so I didn't want to say something in case it didn't spawn here, but we just got a lure for it. So now I know for sure that it's an option. So at some point we'll have to take on a seething basil geese, but the first one we fight will be tempered because we already have this region at 6. But we have a lure for it now at least, so we can force it out. It won't be in this video though, because this video would be too long if I did that. But yeah, I just have a feeling with Master Rank layered armor, I'll be swapping my hunter's appearance on occasion just because I'll be like, you know, I've been looking like this for a while. Let's look a little different. But I know that October update, that armor, I'm gonna wear it so much, and I'm sure we won't have that one layered immediately. But I will just want to wear the full set just because it looks so good. I can't wait. I don't even care what its skills are. It could have trash skills and I'd still wear it. Alright, we did that. And he left the volcanic area, I think, so we gotta chase him out. Man, he left a lot of footprints. Then, at some point, we still have to do Endemic Life, and the arena, and all sorts of stuff. Still plenty to do in Iceborne. Oof, that did not go the way I wanted. Really? Okay. Staggering amount of his move. I can't see his face. No, he enraged as soon as I went to do that. That sucks. I did it early. That's a move that's probably really hard to do, the Spirit EI slash, and work on. Okay. Ooh, it's already wounded. Perfect. Let's get some damage here. How'd I do? Ah, what? Oh, is he near death? He is. Okay, he's gonna go rest, so we'll go to his nest in a moment here. Let's pick up all our items. There's a lot of them. How are we doing here? How many items have we gotten? 21, not bad. Need to reapply cool drink as well. Into the wall he goes. Try and finish him off quickly. And he's enraged. Ow. No, I can't see you. Oh, shoot. Ah, crap. Man. I feel like I'm having a harder time with him than I do with the raging version. I swear he had other shinies he dropped, or did I miss them? Are they just gone now? I think they are. I must have taken too long to pick him up. Alright, and that was Tempered Brachydios. We did not hit level 7, unfortunately. I was really hoping we would. But no such luck. Let's grab the bones that are over here too, and the giant mining point, and then we'll end the expedition. Trying to decide. I think what I'm probably going to do is just get us to level 7, and then that way we can do the monster that I need to do with the next video, and we'll hunt the other tempered monsters for this region in future videos, because I don't have a ton more time to play right now, and I don't want I want to finish this goal. Like, that's just, I need to have it done, and I want to have it done too. Like, it's exciting. So let's go ahead and return. Let's see where we ended up. I wonder what raised those other regions, or did they go down? Maybe they went down. But we're very, very close to 7. Holy crap. Okay, so yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and take care of getting us to 7. It won't take me long at all. And then the next video will be taking on the Volcanic Region level 7 tempered monster, and then we'll be showing off why that was so important. So thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. You can also subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell icon to get email updates when I upload new videos, and of course you can leave any comments or suggestions in the area below the video. However, that is all I have for you today, so thank you so much for watching, and as usual, this is Xephyr, signing out.